It's Thursday, which means we're recording the Hole in the Soul podcast. And I'm here as your co-host, Kevin Oldham. And I've got this handsome fella joining me named Jose Bolaños. Handsome Latin man. Welcome to the show, handsome. Welcome to the show, my male model friend.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me on the show.
It's your show. Why are you thanking me?
I've heard great things about it.
Hey, I was on social media the other day because, I don't have any friends in real life. That's a joke. And I saw this male modeling thing you did. And I like to say male model because if you've ever seen, why am I blanking on the Ben Stiller movie? What is it? The one where he's a model. Blue Steel. Why am I having a hard time with Zoolander? It's about male models. And then I hop on Facebook and I see a picture of a real model who looks like a stud in a cigar ad at a trade show that you're not at. So before we get started, tell us about your modeling career real quick, man. What's that all about? Like, that's some cool stuff.
So I'm pretty good on Instagram here in Nicaragua. I got a nice following, good, solid community following on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I just get a message from some guy. Hey, somebody give me your contact. We're looking for somebody to relaunch the original classical cigar from Joya. Joya is Nicaragua's one of the top brands of cigars in Nicaragua, but it's also one of the top brands of cigars in the world.
In the world.
I mean, Joya is recognized in the world. Like, it's at the top, number one.
It's like cigar. A Cohiba. It's like a Cohiba from I mean, I've heard of it. Okay.
Well,
and I don't smoke cigars.
What's interesting is some of these cigars in Nicaragua are actually Cuban families that moved down here. Some of them are.
Oh, really?
I think Padron. I think that's the background on Padron, but I could be wrong. So anyways.
That's cool.
This guy reaches out. He's like, your image is kind of what we're looking for. And I'm like, I'm pretty bearded right now. I had probably the longest beard I'd have. He's like, no, that's perfect. That's what we want. So this was the first cigar that was made in Nicaragua. This was their original classical cigar that they were relaunching, and they wanted to rebrand it. They wanted an image.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, tell me a little bit more. He's like, well, we're going to have a Porsche, 1969 Porsche in front of the National Theater. And we're going to dress you up in a suit, and we're going to send you to the salon, to the barber shop, not salon. Dude, they had my nails done for it, okay? They had my nails.
You had a mani and a pedi for this?
No, manicure. Or
just a mani. Just a manicure. Yeah. That's awesome.
You're holding a cigar. They needed a cigar smoker. So I smoke cigars. I can smoke a good cigar. I make it look good.
Yes, you can.
You
can.
So I've right off the bat, when they told me the whole scenario, I was like, dude, I'm in. Like, am I getting paid for this? And they're like, no, we're going to give you a box of cigars.
Oh my gosh.
Let's go. My wife was kind of mad about it. She was like, what? Because she works in marketing. That's like what she does.
Right.
So
here we are. Look at you. Look at that beard too. I mean, but you look so sophisticated. Like, I showed that to my wife. She goes, is that real? I'm like, yeah, it's
super real.
I'm like, yeah. It's super real. Dude's like, he's a. All right. You don't want to be. I don't want to say it, but he's a handsome male model who's helping push tobacco products.
But the other thing was that I asked where it was going to be used. Like, they told me, we're not going to use it in Nicaragua. You're not going to be on a billboard in Nicaragua, because they don't sell them here in Nicaragua. Like, you're literally not.
Really?
Their market is Europe, South America, Mexico. It's high-end market. It's a very high-end market.
But they don't sell them locally?
They sell them in very few places, at the airport, at craft store, like for gourmet stuff. So it's not like on the shelves at anywhere. Like, they don't even market it here. It's not marketed. marketed in Nicaragua. So I was like, beautiful. Nobody's going to see it. Here,
Right.
there I am in airports and Europe and trade shows in Vegas and magazines, cigar magazines.
Oh
Like-
my gosh, dude, I love
Like
it.
two weeks-
Like that's the type of. You what?
I'm always model, but when I do, it's for a cigar.
Yeah, yeah. It just seems like something that. Yeah, it's super cool. Like that's like the type of random stuff that I like to do in life. You know, just like, oh yeah, sure, I'll do that. It's like the time that I bought my wife. And we're gonna get to the show here, guys. But you know, this is our show, so put on your seatbelt. We get to talk about whatever we want about. We're going to talk about filling the hole in the soul by modeling.
Yeah, just by having fun. It was
Jose's
fun.
self-confidence was low. So what's he do? He goes out and he models. He puts himself out there, right?
Yeah.
So I guess my point here, what?
To get
to get likes. So this is very much like my Wheel of Fortune. This is like my Wheel of Fortune deal. My Wheel of Fortune thing where I took my wife to Wheel of Fortune Live in Kansas City. And that's where they bring the show on the road. Now, it's not Pat Sajak and it's not Vanna White. It's a B team, but there's still Clay Aiken. And I guess he's somewhat of a celebrity, was my host. And so they come to the Performing Arts Center here in Kansas City and they set up Wheel of Fortune on a stage and then people watch and they do the show live. And they draw. You have the ability when you're going in and you're presenting your tickets to go to a long line to be randomly selected to be on the show. And they chose 9 participants out of thousands, and I was one of them. And I was like, got called up there on stage. I won my game. I got to go to the final thing. I didn't do great in that, but I got to give away money. I won some money, and I'm like, that's a very Kevin thing to do. Or like when I saw Steve Aoki in an airport, you know, like just things like this. These are very Kevin things to do. And you did a very Kevin-like thing by being like, hell yeah, I'll be in that commercial. Or I'll do that. Yeah, that sounds amazing. Life resume. Let's add it.
Yeah.
Let's add it.
My wife wasn't too
right?
getting paid.
You know what?
But it was fun.
You're getting paid right now. You're getting paid in compliments and your ego being stroked by being called handsome by me, your business partner, your co-host, right? Should we start this show?
I think it adds to the brand.
Does it? How's it? You know what?
Just
I want to hear how you feel like it, how it fits. So how's it fit?
Well, don't put me on the spot like that. I want to believe that it adds to the brand. I want to believe that.
Well, here's what it does. It adds to the brand in the following way. It adds to your personal life experiences of doing something, flexing your capacity to do stuff that you've never done before, which causes you to, hey, the next time somebody decides to say, it's like me, when I officiate weddings, I've officiated 2 of them. The first one was kind of scary, right? But it's something I hadn't done before. So I was like, oh, hell yeah, let's do this. Like, let's go do this experience because life is short. And why wouldn't I, if somebody wants me to wed them, why wouldn't I accept that honor? If somebody wants you to model for their stuff, why wouldn't you accept that honor? It makes you a more rounded human being. And VUCA Fit's all about training for life, man. And that's life. That's a good part of life, a fun part.
So, but I really thought about the brand. I mean, I wasn't going to do it for a cigarette brand or for something, Hoya is a high-end brand, so I took that into account. It wasn't just any brand. But you know what? Here's another thing. One time, I had to cross the border to Honduras illegally to go get a job done. Like, they weren't going to let me in because of some stuff. So the guy at immigration was just like, you could just walk in and, nobody's going to really pay attention. Okay. So I just walked through the border. I got the job done, came back. I was telling this story to a client, and he was actually like, hell yeah, my coach crosses borders illegally and comes back, and that's pretty cool. He was actually pretty excited that he had a coach that was doing these illegal border crossings in Latin America. So
You
That
just
was
said
pretty
illegal
funny.
border crossings in Latin America, so a bunch of Americans just got triggered, which is hilarious. And we're talking about a completely different one. Hey guys, in Latin America, it also happens. They're not all just coming to the United States, right?
Oh no. Nicaraguans actually migrate south more than north. Nicaraguans actually go to Costa Rica. So we give Costa Rica the same issue to talk about that you guys have with a lot of Latin American illegal border crossings. Same issues. The Costa Ricans have that issue with us and other Latin Americans because they are one of the most developed countries in Central America. So
I could see
pretty
myself living there one day. I could see myself, my wife and I living in Guanacaste province. I've spent a lot of time there at my last company. I've spent some time there at this company. I could actually see that happening. So I see what Nicaraguans see in terms of Costa Rica. It is a very, very desirable place. Are we going to talk about with us? You know what? We should almost start another show where we just talk about bullshit that we want to talk about. But this is the hole in the soul.
Well, some of this is insightful. This is insightful. This is insightful.
Well, people get to know us. They get to know how weird we are.
Yeah.
Presence-based stuff.
Yeah.
Presence. How do we transition to talking about being present besides just saying, hey, that was the intro and it was really long and we're going to talk about how you're a more present human being now?
Well, we can not make such a hard.
Okay.
But, I was talking to a client today, this whole presence-based approach to leadership. And
what does that mean?
The hell does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean to somebody who doesn't understand it?
So, little backstory. When I decided to train as a coach, the first time I asked my mentor, dude, what is this coaching thing and how do I get started? He referred me to his friend in North Carolina who had a book called The Mindful Coach. And that was the first time that I ever came upon the topic of mindfulness and the topic of coaching simultaneously. And I went to train with him, and he was in the process of creating, just like we are. He was in the process of creating. He had one book. Today he has 3 books. May he rest in peace because he passed away from cancer. But his whole methodology, his whole creation, just like we are with the VUCA Fit methodology, is called presence-based coaching. And so I trained with him for 10 years. And I got certified as a presence-based coach. So I bring a presence-based approach and help leaders. What it means basically is that we consider our ability to be present the key competency to dealing with VUCA. The competency of all competencies, the meta competency that's going to push the needle in everything we do is our ability to be present. So through coaching, I don't just want to help my client get through his issues. I want them to build their ability to be present. That's what it means. And then we can jump into a little bit about, okay, so be present. You with me?
I am 100%, man. So let's talk about the Leadership Dojo. Is that the same author? Yeah, I was going to say, I did want to ask, is this the same author who wrote Leadership Dojo or different?
The Leadership Dojo is written by my mentor's mentor.
Okay.
So my mentor, Doug Silsbee, trained with Richard Straussy-Heckler in his methodology of coaching. Richard Straussy-Heckler has his own Leadership Dojo, presence-based, somatic-based. So in when we talk about somatics, is that we work a lot through the body. So that is just an element of presence-based coaching. The body and somatics is one of the disciplines, along with other disciplines like mindfulness and other. But in the Leadership Dojo, it's very much focused on somatics and working through the body and leadership, which just basically means that you need to, if you want to become a certain type of leader, you have to embody it. It's got to become muscle memory. It's got to become who you are at a muscular level. Like if you want to be compassionate, that you got to be compassionate. You
can't
have to
fake it.
embody.
Yeah, you've got to be. Yeah, you can't just fake it. I understand that. Yeah.
So the Leadership Dojo is one of the reading materials in our curriculum in presence-based coaching.
Got it. Cool.
All right.
So
let me jump a little bit into presence. So when we say being present today, like, what do you understand if I say you got to be present, Kevin? What comes up for you?
It means that whatever's happening, whether it's on a computer screen, I'm by myself, or if I'm with other human beings, I'm not letting my mind wander to other places. I'm focused on what's in front of me. That's what presence means, or being present means to me.
Okay. So I want to elaborate a little more on that. That would be one element of it. So it would be, definition, the way we're taught is, one, the ability to be in the moment to myself. So I am present to whatever's happening with me right now. Whether it's tightness in the body, anxiety, fear, thoughts, it's whatever's going on, the experience of being Jose in this moment connected to it. That would be one element.
Joseing. The art of Joseing, right?
And being aware of it.
Yes.
Being connected.
Which is why you used to always ask me. That's why you used to always ask me, you're like, what's it like Kevining? And I'm like, the first time I heard that, I'm like, what do you mean, dude? And you're like, what's it like being Kevin, doing Kevin right now? And I'm like, and then once I got it, I'm like, okay, now I understand. So that's step one, yourself.
Connected to yourself. Step two, connect in the moment. So I can connect to others. You can't connect to others if you don't connect to yourself. So look at this like a channel. Like, I got to connect to myself first, so then I can connect and engage with this other person. You with me?
Makes sense.
Okay. Then we take it further. Connected to the context. So aware of the context that I'm in. So now I'm aware of what's going on with me. I have some sense of what might be going on with this other person, and I'm connected to whatever we're in. This is the context. So I'm present to all this. And now we go on, we can let go of our habitual way of being. So I free myself from my habitual tendencies, and I can respond according to what's most important to me.
Yeah.
And I'll wrap this up, I'll bring it home. But these are all abilities, connected to myself, connected to others, connected to the context. Being able to let go of my habitual way of being, and then responding in a new way that's aligned with the future that I want to create, my commitment. That's why commitment's so important. Because the commitment is the guiding, galvanizing source that guides my action in the moment. I am guided by my commitment. So if we said this in a whole definition of being present is the ability to connect to myself, connect to others, connect with the context, and respond in a way that's aligned with what's really important to me. That's a very long-winded answer to what.
If I could drop this mic without, I can't do a mic drop, because it's heavier than hell, but also it's going to hurt the listener's ears. But that's a true mic drop. When you were able to rattle that off, sounds like you've said that more than once, because you gave me 5 bullet points and then you just eloquently rattled them off in a sentence.
I've said them more than once.
Yeah, more than once. I don't know that I've ever heard you say that. Those words, like those 5 steps in one sentence. Can you say it again? Because that's really powerful stuff, man. Because I think that a lot of people struggle with presence in today's digital world. Everybody struggles with presence in today's digital world. I don't care who you are. You can be the most. It's just, I feel like everybody does.
So
say that again. Say it again. Say it again.
So being present is the ability to be connected to myself, my experience, internal experience, being aware of that, connected to others, connected to the context, being able to let go of my habitual tendencies, of my habit nature, and responding in a way that's more aligned with my commitment, with my intention, with the future I want to create.
Beautiful.
That's
Yeah.
We want to develop that ability.
Yeah.
We want to
I don't know
expand
anybody that would say, yeah, that's not for me. I don't want that ability. Now, they might think that they can't do it. They might say, I'm unavailable emotionally to do that type of work. And the reality is that's why we train. That's why VUCA Fit exists, because it is freaking hard. It's so hard, dude. Like that's always been something for me. And I think a lot of people, particularly entrepreneurs, when you start thinking about attention issues and things like that, attention deficit disorder is code for, yes, I'm having a hard time being present with anything.
So the other ability that we learn in being present is that we can be with whatever is happening. So, people say, be present in the moment, enjoy the now. I like to say, F that, the now sometimes sucks.
Yeah.
So you want to be able to be with it. So an ice bath, for example, is such a good practice because you can learn to be with that really difficult circumstance without suffering, without, wasting unnecessary energy. So when my clients are going through shit, it's not useful to tell them, oh, just be in the moment, enjoy the process, find the positivity. And it's like, no, I acknowledge. So a lot of my clients today that I've worked with me for years, like a lot of their takeaway or the capacity, and I love when they say, I am going through crap, but I can be with it better than in the past. I'm okay. Like I'm actually okay. Like I know I'm going through this and I'm actually okay.
Do you remember what I used to say? Remember what I used to say in my old studio?
Yeah.
I used to say I'm oddly uncomfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Oddly uncomfortable. So it was surprising to me after doing the work for 2 years with you as one of your students, oddly comfortable being this uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that
didn't just happen by accident. That happened through training, man. Like hard ass, some of the hardest work I've done as a human being. The internal, being honest, looking inside and being like, yeah, you suck at this area of life and you need to work on it because it's not serving you or your commitment, which you say is important to you, your true north, right? That's powerful, dude.
It is. So I'd like to tell you just a story today that happened to me with a client where I'm like, oh my God, he's there. He's kind of graduated.
Yeah?
Not graduated, but like, wow. So 11 years ago, I did a not so great TED Talk. I would say not so great because if I look at it today, I'm like, dude, I could have done so much better, obviously, 11 years ago.
Of course, we both could have, right?
Yeah. But in that TED Talk, the TED Talk was called Responding to What's Important Now. And I gave an example of waking up in the middle of the night, knowing that I had to go to work early in the morning, like I had a workshop or something. And that my baby girl or my baby boy, I don't know, I think it was my baby girl because this was like 11 years ago. It must have been my baby boy because she would have been older. He was sick or he didn't go to bed or he was keeping me up at night and I had to go into the room and put him back to bed as a baby. And I was tense and fighting and resisting and pissed off and angry and trying to bounce him up and down and get him to fall asleep and just fucking fall asleep, kid. When I suddenly realized, dude, this is what's important now.
This is it. This is all that matters. This is what you said is important. Family first, right?
This is it.
This is it.
Let everything else go.
Right.
And so when I realized that, when I had that epiphany, that moment of awareness of this is what you've been practicing for, this is it, this is the real deal, I got to relax, drop my shoulders, drop my breath,
Right.
connected with myself first. Remember, I connected first with what I was going through, connected with my boy, realized the context I'm in, and then I started behaving in a way that was aligned with what was truly important. And I started swaying him in a different way, and I started humming to him, and I just let go and gave into the moment, and he fell asleep, and it was a beautiful moment. I was like, this is one of the most beautiful moments I've ever had. This is deep. And then I put him to bed. I was like, wow, that was amazing. And that
So
I shared
cool.
that story on the TED Talk.
Mm-hmm.
You with me?
I'm 100% with you. I'm so with you that what I've been doing is I've been looking and finding you, and looky there.
There
And
I
this is
am.
the part where I point out the fact that when I said both of us would have done better, so viewers can see that Ted did that Jose did one 9 years ago, and then your co-host Kevin Oldham did one. I did one 9 years ago. Jose did one 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And I have twice as many views as you do. I have
Do you?
1,800, and you only have 1,000.
You only had 12. You only
Yeah.
had 12.
You know what? And your message has, hold on. Yours has 12 as well. Now you have 13. And guess what? I have 13. So both of our TED Talks were not resoundingly huge compared to others. But guess what? A lot of people dream of doing a TED Talk, and we were doing it before they were dreaming. Boom.
Boom. So this is the beautiful part. Even more beautiful is today a client came to our call. And we've really been doing work for years now. And he was like, I've been up all night. My daughter was sick. She's been puking and this and that. And this morning, he's like, I woke up. And I swear, I've never told him this experience. I've never shared it this way. But he was like, I knew I had a meeting with a client, with a broker, and I knew I had this to do. And I had to go take care at the company. He's a contractor. And I knew I had to go do this, and it was all important. And my wife was like, she wrote to me early in the morning. She's like, I'm done. I haven't slept. I need you to take over. And the last thing he wanted to do was take over. The last thing he wanted to do was jump in and be a daddy while he's got to go do a whole bunch of other stuff. And so he says that he had to go give his daughter a shower, right? And he was kind of resisting it and kind of fighting it and kind of wanting to just get over it. And I need to go to these meetings. I got to go to do this, and I got to go do that, and I got to go do this. And then he says that when he was in the shower, it just dawned on him. This is like the same experience. And he's like, and I just connected with my daughter, and I was like, this is the most beautiful moment in my life. This is a beautiful moment of connection.
Right.
And I haven't had this experience because I haven't been present, and I've been so caught up, and I've been fighting it. I would have been angry. I would have been telling my wife, I can't, he would have made it a fight about it. He might have left, and he might have left. He might have said, no, I can't. I got to go do all this work. And he might have left.
Yeah.
But here's an even more beautiful part. That important meeting he had, after he responded in this way, he got an email that said, I saw the info you sent, and it's good. It's like so good that we don't need to meet up. I can do the work just with this information you sent.
It all worked out. Yeah.
It worked out. But what I told him was, and this is what I truly believe, is that when we do function in this way, that's why I always ask my clients, what's important now? If you can discern what's important now and respond to that, everything else will fall into place. And I trust the universe will let things. And so you got a message from the universe, not telling you that everything's okay with the meeting. You got a message from the universe saying, you made the right choice. That you graduated. You got brownie points for choosing to be present with your daughter. Like, I'm just going to give you a little positive reinforcement for having done that. And so
I believe that to be true too. And I had that happen to me last night, man. Last night. So I've had a bad week in terms of sleep, and I've bragged about my sleep and getting it back after not having it for like a decade. I went to vacation last week. It was spring break here. Come back to Kansas City, and just the shit hits the fan starting Monday. I mean, it's just like VUCA to the nth degree. And so it I wear this Whoop band on my wrist. It tracks my sleep, and sleep's not that great Monday night. Tuesday night is the worst night of sleep I've had forever. I think I slept 2.5 hours. And so last night, my wife only slept 2.5 hours Tuesday night too. So last night, tried to get the family to bed early, and we freaking got there, man. 9:15, unheard of in our family. Everybody's hanging out and ready to, watching TV in bed with us and stuff. But everybody's like, we're done. Like, we can say, hey, mom and dad are going to go to bed, and all the formalities of bedtime are done, right? And I get my kids in bed, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to play a game on my phone. I've been busy all day. I like to decompress. But I still have one unfinished piece of business. And that was my 15 minutes with God. And I knew it was unfinished because it wasn't a closed ring on my Streaks app. And I knew mentally, I said, I'll go spend time in the Word after I get done with my game. Dude, our Wi-Fi works fine. I just got to upgrade to 5 gigs through Google. It's firing. Nobody was online. It was just me. Everybody's in bed. My son wasn't playing Fortnite, sucking up the bandwidth. Wi-Fi should have been amazing. I tried to load my game, spinning circle. I close it, reopen it, try it, spinning circle. I look to see if I'm on Wi-Fi. I'm on Wi-Fi. I turn it off. Mobile signal full, spinning circle. And then I'm like, I need to get in the Word right now. And guess what I did last night? I slept like a champ.
Yeah.
I got my sleep back.
You responded.
I responded to what was important now. What wasn't freaking important to play that game, dude? Because that was going to disrupt my sleep and make me not sleep, but I felt like I needed it. But I've got this lizard brain sometimes that gives in. And so I was like, well, I deserve this because, man, I deserve an escape right now. And that's not what was important right now. That wasn't, I deserved an escape, but my escape needed to be in a different way. And the universe showed me. And so that's cool, man. Listen, being the headline I feel like that has served me really well in my life is be in, and I don't want to sound too woo-woo for people that don't believe in interconnectivity and stuff, but if you're listening to VUCA Fit's podcast, Hole in the Soul, we have a big spiritual aspect to this, whatever that means to you. Okay. It can mean cosmic forces. It can mean whatever it means to you, right? Jose and I are both Christians. So ours is pretty simple. It's Jesus Christ, God, Holy Trinity. You can be Buddhist, you can be Hindu, whatever you want to be. I don't care. I believe that we all have a path. Now, if you don't tap into that, or you don't tap into the source, right? As Rick Rubin talks about in his book, you get disconnected, but you feel it and you ignore it. That's when I've been burned in life, man.
Yep. And
it's powerful to hear these examples and see them in real life come to life in yourself and in others.
Well, we believe in present space. We get reconnected in the moment, in the now. It's just coming back to connecting with yourself, connecting with others around you, connecting with the context. I mean, if we look at his example, it's seeing his frustration, seeing his anger, seeing his resistance, noticing what's going on with him. What's going on with him? He realizes he's holding his baby girl in his hands. He notices that he's in the shower and she's sick in the context. He realizes what's important, and then he aligns with it by giving to that. And then we have this spiritual belief that if we do that, everything else will fall into place.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to believe
life's
that.
good, man.
Yes.
I believe that. I believe that to be true, and I've proven it. I've seen it work in my freaking life, man. You can't see God. You can't see some of these things, but you can feel the impact when seemingly unconnected things happen, and you look back and you're like, you know what? That wasn't unconnected. That was just divine, you know?
And how many birthdays, dinners, vacations, children being sick, just so many experiences being ruined because we're not present when we're caught up in business, finances, something else that needs to be solved that you can't even solve in that moment anyways. Wanting to control, fear, scarcity. These are the things that keep us from being present.
Yeah, they sure do. I mean, you
So
just
we
named
train.
some of my nemesis there, you know? Nemesi? What's the plural of nemesis?
I don't know.
Nemesi? Doesn't matter. Maybe I'll just go do another Urban Dictionary entry. Just go add to my collection of hits.
Yeah.
Make up words.
So in VUCA Fit methodology, we train for life like a warrior or an athlete, but we're actually trained to be more present, to presence-based approach. So there you go.
There you go. I mean, that's it.
That's
literally, that's what we needed to talk about today. That's what we needed to talk about. I want to give listeners one thing.
Go ahead.
And this is a tool I've used that I got from Jose. And so as somebody who has historically said I've had a hard time quieting my brain. And I think that's a lot of Americans. It's probably a lot of humans. But I definitely feel like in America, because this is what I see every day. Everybody's looking at their phones. They're very self-absorbed. We have a very self-absorbed culture. Social media hasn't helped that at all. Matter of fact, it's made it way, way worse. Whoever thought about taking a picture of themselves until social media? So if that's true, and we have the ability, Jose's giving himself a selfie right now, which is why I'm laughing. You're using duck lips? Come on, man. What are you, pee sitting down? guys can't do duck lips. Stop.
I know, I don't do duck lips, bro. Never
You
have.
can't do it. Anyway, long story short, here's my tip. When you find your mind wandering, a simple way that I use to bring my attention back to the present. And it can be if I'm trying to meditate, or frankly, it can be if I'm trying to focus in a conversation with somebody. I will focus on the tip of my nose for a second to recenter my attention. And then a lot of times if I'm having a conversation with somebody, to refocus on my nose, I kind of got to look like I'm looking at my nose for a second. So I look like I'm spacing out, and then I can relook at them in the eyes. It's about a 1 second thing, and reconnect with that human being is saying. Reconnect with that human being. And I think that that's super, super important. And what you're doing through that process is you're doing step number one. You're also reconnecting to yourself, because you're reconnecting to yourself. And I realize that's what's happening when I do that little hack. And then I'll chime back in and be like, okay, I need to focus again, right? I need to be present. So that's my hack for you guys. Focus on the tip of your nose. What do you have? Anything you want to share before we wrap this random pod up that's not so random?
I just love the fact that you can actually teach that, what you just taught, that you just actually, like you taught that. There you go. I love it.
We're in the process of certifying. I mean, I don't know how many of these guys are going to get certified, because you got to show up more than 50% to be certified, a VUCA Fit certified individual. But I'm halfway through the certification process of 6 months. Plus, I've been working on it for 2 years. So there you go. Warrior up, people.
I'm going to do some amazing things. All right.
We're going to do amazing.
We good?
We're good. Just some final housekeeping for our guests.
Go ahead.
Guys, we love doing this show. Whether we get your feedback or not, we're going to keep showing up. We're going to keep recording. But I'll tell you what helps us bring more energy to the show are those 5-star reviews. Seeing those helps Jose and I have more energy. So we would love it if you were to go and leave us a review. And furthermore, we have a YouTube channel. And that channel is actually our number one place where people are finding us, believe it or not. Way more people are viewing our YouTube channel and watching our shorts than are subscribed right now. So if you're one of those people listening right now, thank you. If you're one of those people that's on there right now and you haven't hit subscribe on either one of those, it's a small act for you and it means the freaking world to us. So please go smash that button before I get sick of saying it. Smash it. Until next time, I'm Kevin. That's Jose. We're Hole in the Soul. We hope you have a phenomenal week. Be well.